Welcome everybody, Richard Evans, the Paradise Tour Guide here in lovely Las Vegas, Nevada. Actually over here by the edge of the Bellagio, just before it goes into the Cosmopolitan area. And today we're looking at my list for the 6 weirdest places to get married in Las Vegas. Go through that. Also have a little question and answer session right at the end. Let's have some fun. Hey folks, again, I'm Richard Evans with Paradise Tour Guide. I'm a retired history teacher as well as a longtime tour guide here in the Las Vegas area. I give walking tours and a lot of other things. I also give advice. Here in my channel, we talk about everything having to do with travel generally and Las Vegas specifically. The best saving tips and hacks, reviews of some of the most fantastic restaurants and different places you can go, from hotels to the different tours and shows and things, as well as just really fun little things that you may not know about Las Vegas. In other words, we're trying to experiment and find all those different things that can make your trip here to Las Vegas a memory that you are always going to remember for the rest of your life. Today, let's get going. Okay, so here in Las Vegas, we have just fantastic weddings all the time, and this is really interesting for this year, is because here in 2022, coming up on Valentine's Day, we're getting near to where we're going to have a grand total of 5 million weddings done here in Las Vegas, and that's a lot of fun things to go. We've got lots and lots of wedding chapels here, lots and lots of wonderful venues to get married, to cater to anyone's requirements, whether they be religious or something a little offbeat or whatever. This one here is my list of the 6 weirdest places. That doesn't necessarily mean that these places are bad, it just simply means they're just kind of off the wall, a little weird, as far as being in a niche that a lot of people wouldn't consider for getting a wedding, but for the right purpose, right people, right persons, this would be the perfect place to go. So anyway, here's my list of the 6 weirdest places to get married. Number 1, Neon Museum. Yes, we have a museum here in Las Vegas, approximately 1 mile north of the Fremont Street Experience, that all the wonderful neon signs that's happened over in the casinos over the years, when they get blown up, the neon signs are taken away. What to do with them? Well, they're taken over to the Neon Museum. A massive place with lots of these huge neon signs from places like Castaways and Hacienda and Sands and Dunes and all these different places. And yes, you can get married there. Wonderful at night. Now, they don't actually do it. They provide the location, and they also have a couple marriage officiants, the ones who do the marriage ceremonies here in Las Vegas. And they do that all the time. The fee varies a little bit depending on when and where and what date that you're going to go and how big your crowd is going to be, but generally runs somewhere between about $900 and $1,200. Okay, number 2 on the weird things, Denny's. Denny's? Yeah, Denny's. Denny's on Fremont Street, right on the Experience, in the Neonopolis building, is the only Denny's that I know of that, yes, has a wedding chapel. Now, for $199, you get to use the wedding chapel, you get a bouquet of flowers, you get photo booth to get everything done, you get t-shirts, and you also get a pancake wedding cake. Nothing more American than that. Number 3 is the Mob Museum. Yes, the Mob Museum. Now, technically, the name is the Museum of Law Enforcement and Organized Crime. The Mob Museum is downtown near the Fremont Street Experience, and it used to be the original post office here in Las Vegas, built in the early 1930s, became the courthouse, and now it is the Mob Museum. It's a great place to go and spend a few hours, but you can also get married there. They have a lot of different types of things that you can do as far as different packages. The packages start at about $600. They go up all the way up to $1,500 $15,000. But those are for large groups like 100 people, and they give you a DJ for 3 hours, an open bar for 3 hours, and dinner for 3 hours, and all sorts of different things. Huge packages, so from big to small, but it's a fun little place to get married. Next, number 4 on our list is the gun store. Yes, we have a lot of places here where people like to come and fire off a few rounds. Lots of different places. One of them is the gun store, and yes, they have their own in-house chapel at the gun store. Walk on in, go down a flowered row with prop guns along the way. You get married with an officiant who's kind of gun related as far as they go, and when you're done, you go to the firing range and pop off a few rounds. The gun store. It's a great way to start your wedding. Okay, remember when I said Denny's was really American? Maybe this is the most American one. I don't know. Okay, number 5 as the most unique places or weird places to get married is on the song ship at Treasure Island. Now, way back in the day, they used to have the sirens of Treasure Island, the big water show with sailing ships, and people would be firing cannons at each other. Well, that's mostly been taken away. They still have the ships in a much smaller lagoon than what was there before, but you know what? You can get married there. You actually come up on the ship itself, have a wedding ceremony right there, and they also have a number of packages where they, you have dinner, you have a reception, all sorts of stuff. They start at about $1,500, and they also have themed ones in which you have the officiant looking like a pirate or a naval officer from the 1700s or whatever it happens to be. Fun little thing. If you're into that sort of stuff, that is a great place to go. All right, and for me, the number 1 weirdest place to get married in Las Vegas is at Kiss Monster Golf. Now, Kiss Monster Golf is a mini golf place located at the Rio, and it's themed after the music group Kiss. Everything the music group Kiss, hard rock, all sorts of things, and yes, you can get married there. They have their own chapel, a lot of different plans. Packages run from approximately $200 up to about $700, depending on how it's going to go. Just weird stuff. I tell you what, Las Vegas, there's a way to go get married on the way that you want. Okay, we're going to do a few questions right now that I've been receiving over some of the social media, Facebook, and all these other different places. The first one is from John from the UK. Are Las Vegas weddings legal and binding? Great question. A lot of people want to know because there's some weird things there, and the answer to that question is it depends. Yeah, it depends. The regular weddings you do are absolutely 100% legal and binding around the world as long as you go through the process. The process has a couple of different parts. First of all, you have to get a license from the county. Here in Nevada, that's the rules. First of all, you have to have a marriage license from the county. In our case, Las Vegas is located in Clark County. They do have a marriage license bureau that's open 24 hours a day at the county building, which is near the Fremont Street Experience downtown, within a couple of blocks, easy to walk from the downtown area. You have to apply, show your ID, fill out a couple of forms, and pay a $77 fee. At least that's what the fee is currently. Once you have that, you can get married within the next 10 seconds. It's no problem, and I believe that marriage certificate lasts, I think, 90 days. I could be wrong on that. If anyone knows something different on that, please let us know down in the comments. And the second part of that is you have to be married in a ceremony that is presided by a marriage or wedding officiant. Now, an officiant is someone who has been regulated, as basically been certified by the county as being someone who can do wedding ceremonies. Almost all someone who is a pastor or some sort of a religious figure, something like that, is working with a recognized denomination. It's almost automatically approved. It just has to fill out a form and has to go through a little class so that they know what the requirements are for filing forms and that sort of thing to make it legal in Nevada. But there's lots of other people who can do. For example, notary publics can also conduct weddings in Nevada, and so they can register for it. The main thing is that they simply have to be registered with the county as someone who can do weddings, and as long as that is, then it's fine. The other thing that is kind of interesting, which I find is fascinating, is they do have a law here in Nevada that allows for a one-time person to do a wedding. If you have someone, an uncle, a grandmother, someone that you want to do the wedding ceremony, even if they are not a pastor or they're not registered here, they're from somewhere else or whatever, they can register to do a one-time wedding ceremony here in Nevada. They do have to apply, they do have to go through an online class to make sure that they know, again, about paperwork and how to make it do legally and that sort of thing. But yeah, if you want Uncle Joe to do your wedding ceremony, you can bring him along to Nevada with you. As long as he has gone through the process to be approved to do the wedding ceremony, he can do your wedding ceremony. Or your grandmother, or your first grade teacher. Yeah, they can all do that. It's kind of an interesting here in Las Vegas. As you do those are all legal. Now, the interesting thing is almost 60% of the different ceremonies that are done in Las Vegas are not legal marriages. And why that is a lot of people are not actually getting married. One of the biggest things are renewal of vows. Yeah, you've been married for 10 years, you've been married for 20 years, you've been married for 30 years, and you just feel, like you just want to recertify and renew those vows that you did long ago to express your love and your commitment to your partner. You can certainly do that, and that happens a lot around here. The second thing is, I find kind of interesting, are commitment ceremonies. You have people who want to do some sort of special thing because of their relationship and show their love and commitment to the other person, but don't want to go so far as it to be legal. Well, they have the commitment ceremony, and essentially it's the same sort of a ceremony that you have if you're getting married, except you don't do it with the wedding license. You say, hey, we've been together for 2 years, we'd like to do something special, don't want to get married yet, but want to do something to show our commitment to each other. You can do this. You don't get a marriage license when you go to the officiants who are doing it, or the wedding chapel, or the whatever happens to be doing the ceremony for you. You say, this is simply going to be a commitment ceremony. We're not actually getting married, and they completely do it, and no problem. You can have that special moment that you can remember and have us say, yeah, we went ahead and got married in Las Vegas. But yeah, so in those particular cases, they're not valid because you didn't go and get the license and go through other things. But if you do go through all the steps, get the marriage license, and you are doing it with a legal officiant, then it is legal and binding throughout the world. The final question I want to do there, Tess, is a question from Donna from Oregon. What is the most expensive Las Vegas wedding? Actually, this is an interesting question because, again, we got some news coming out because we are expected to hit 5 million people being wed in Las Vegas this year. And so the Waldorf Astoria over in the Aria complex is advertising a special one-time wedding possibility, and this is just really over the top. If this is something that you want to do, they will pick you up by private plane and fly you to Las Vegas, you and your wedding party. They will book up to 300 people into the Waldorf Astoria. You will eat at the finest restaurants. You will go on a shopping spree at Crystal's, which is the high-end shopping area, to get clothes and rings and top-line jewelers, anything that you want. You're going to stay there in the presidential suite, completely 100% everything part of the package. You'll have a wonderful, beautiful ceremony at the Waldorf Astoria. You have a brilliant reception at the Waldorf Astoria. When you're done, you will go for a week for your honeymoon to any Waldorf Astoria in the world, and a year from now, after you get married, they will bring you back to the Waldorf Astoria for your beautiful blast of an anniversary. everything, top line, everything, super, super duper 100% quality, from the food to the presentations to all the entertainment and everything, for $5 million. $5 million? $5 million. You know what? I'm a little short on that one, so good thing that I'm married and I don't have to tell my wife I can't do the $5 million wedding ceremony. What can I say? Guys, that's it for this particular thing. Again, I'm Richard Evans, the Paradise Tour Guide here in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you happen to have any questions or comments, please share them down below. Do you happen to have any other things that you consider even weirder than the ones that I have on my list? There's other options. What do you consider? What do you consider the #1 weird place to get married, even if it's not Las Vegas? And do you have any? If this is the content that you like, let me know what else you'd like to know about Las Vegas, as far as attractions, as far as things to do, as far as saving money, all of that cool stuff. And if you do find that this type of content is interesting to you, please consider down below, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and even hit the alarm so that next time that you see something come out, it'll be a notice to you in your email so that you can go ahead and be one of the first ones to do it. Thank you very much. Again, Richard Evans. May your memories here in Las Vegas last forever. Next time, folks. Bye-bye.